Welcome back to No Direction Detail. I'm Brian.
I'm Aaron.
We have an exciting video for you today. Something new. Something bold, something blue. How does that go?
Something borrowed, something blue.
Something borrowed,
I think that's
something
only
blue.
if we're getting married.
Oh, all right.
Let's not do that, huh?
All right, guys. Let's talk about graphene coatings. You know how I feel about it. I've felt about that since the beginning or the inception of adding graphene to a coating. And my boy here that agreed with me back in the day has taken the plunge. So I'm excited to bring a new protectant from Phoenix EOD. First, we better pay some bills, though.
That's right. So, hey, everybody, make sure that you go to the link below, click on that, use promo code NODIRECTION10, save yourself some cheddar. You can get everything Phoenix EOD and a few other goodies.
Odds and ends.
At thehouseofrags.com.
Excellent.
Everything you need for... Oh, what is it? They're new... The new live read that I have to do for my show, because they are a sponsor of the Corner Hangout.
You're sponsored now.
I am now sponsored by the House of Rags, built on quality.
All right, you're probably wondering why we have 3 vials of coating sitting in front of you.
Yes.
Some of them are of a darker shade, and that is for a reason.
So, Brian, when I first started Phoenix EOD 5 years, we're about to turn 5 years old.
How about that?
4th of July. Wow.
Time is just...
we were experimenting with different coatings. And Brian, you and I both settled on polyxylazine being our preferred ceramic of choice.
Yeah, and then that comes strictly from one thing, and that's actually seeing cars that the coating is applied to come back for maintenance and seeing how it holds up. That decision was made solely from that, and that is the most important thing. I don't care about gloss or slickness or water behavior if it doesn't last. Polyxylazine just outlasts all the other coatings, period.
Yeah, I think all of those other features that you're talking about can definitely be added later, like using Titan as a topper. You're getting that slickness, the water beading, the glossiness, the shine, and stuff like that. So I think you're 100% right. Where I think that the number one criteria for what coating you use should be durability.
Enter your new product. Let's hear about it.
All right, so Kronos is now Kronos Graphene. I mean, we still have the.
I was going to say
we still have V2 of Kronos. It's not replacing. It's adding. Yeah, we're definitely adding a new family member to the Phoenix family. So 5 years ago, it was like you had a coating with graphene versus actually having a graphene coating, right? And you could tell by, and I have we have this is Kronos that you guys have all come to know and love, and I'll bring, I brought the little pen light. You can see it; it's nice and clear, and whatnot. And then the original Kronos with graphene, not Kronos Graphene, but Kronos with graphene, you can see like it settles down to the bottom. And it's smoky. Like you can see that it's like suspended.
You can see it's not.
It separates out.
It's something in another solution.
Correct.
It's not something part of another.
You shake it up a little bit. You can see this descending down like smoke, and that's because it's not really part of the coating. It's just added. It's like pencil shavings added to a solution. Whereas technology has now come along where it is now part of.
Well, it's helped with. It seems like it's helped with the refinement of graphene.
Correct.
And making it part of your coating.
100%. So now it's actually part of the solution, not an additive.
So I do want to make this clear that adding graphene to your coating, you're still not putting that hexagonal lattice. 1 atom thick layer of protection on your car, which would make it,
Right. So that's why there's like a difference between adding strength of a protection, right? Because on a molecular level, the way that graphene really gets its strength is that it has a hexagonal form which stacks on top of each other and builds a pattern. And that's where you get the strength of graphene. But that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're adding different elements to a polyxylazine coating, right? So instead of making that polyxylazine coating, like as far as the pencil test is concerned, stronger, we do claim that this is a 10 plus, but the 10 plus has an asterisk next to it because the test can only measure up to 9H, right? That's as far as the machinery is going to do. But there are other elements that aren't being considered and being factored. So it's kind of like, it should have been just like a 9 plus, right? Because it has different features. What graphene does with the polyxylazine is that polyxylazine, as we discussed a couple of times on this show, the No Direction, is that it's very porous. And the graphene helps fill in those micro voids to give it a little bit more structure and a little bit more resistance.
I believe you said the magic word. So when we're talking about a graphene coating, we're not talking about graphene being the source of the protection in your car.
Correct.
Graphene in Kronos is being added or is part of your coating to fill voids and make your coating stronger,
right,
and last longer and add some character.
Collectively stronger. It's not adding that structure, but it's collectively making it stronger because
it's doing other things to help
correct.
fill in voids. So that's probably the best way to put it.
This is going to be I'm going to super nerd out on you because that's what you guys have come to expect from us. The reason why Spartan warriors were so effective is because they had shield brothers, right? So they would carry these massive tower shields and they would be off to the side. And their brother, they weren't holding it for themselves, they were holding it for the guy next to him. And so then you had the guy next to him, and they had the small spears, and they were able to use the small spears. So that's what the graphene is doing. The graphene is basically being a shield brother for polyxylazine.
It's being part of a team.
Correct.
Excellent. Well, we're not going to just sit here and talk about it. We are going to get out into the shop and do what we do. So we're going to show you application. We're going to show you a wipe off. Now, with a ceramic coating, unlike a spray sealant or a topper, I could put it on the test panel and I can hit it with chemicals. You can't do that with a full-blown coating.
Right.
It would take all day, and we don't have time for that. But it would just be silly. There is no test to replace what Mother Nature can dish up at your car throughout seasons.
Correct.
Spring here, so we have pollen, we have birds flying around, shitting on your car.
Tons of rain.
Bugs, you name it. So we're going to apply it to a car, and we're going to do testing that should be done, and that's just real-world testing and keeping an eye on a coating as it gets older. And that's what we plan on doing today, and I can't wait for this because he has been persuaded as to how graphene can help a coating. I'm not there yet.
We're going to make a believer. Kronos is going to make a believer out of you.
I'm very excited about it. I'm open to everything. I do have my beliefs, but I'm open to things, and I have an open mind for that, and I can't wait. Let's get out and have fun with this product.
Who knew?
The first thing I want to talk about is prep. You're going to get out. Detailing products, I always talk about preparation because what you expect out of it, well, you're going to get out what you put into it. So the time, the effort that you put into preparation, meaning your wash, your decontamination. I always recommend to polish the surface before coating, even if you have to do it by hand with a cleaner polish, which you could still do. You could still get around the car rather quickly doing that. It's a little bit extra work, but it's worth the time because you're exfoliating, lack of a better word, the surface, so that protectant, and it doesn't matter if it's coating, this goes for waxes and sealants, has something to anchor onto. It has a foundation where there's nothing in the way. And when you have a foundation like that, you're going to have an excellent protectant. And we did that to this surface. In previous videos, especially on my channel, we did a polish on this, and it was pretty bad. And we got it that the surface is now shiny and has a reflection. And I want to lock that in. I want to lock that in with something substantial and protect it from Mother Nature so it doesn't turn that way again. And that's where I'm going to turn to Kronos Graphene. Let's get to it here. I'm going to bring you guys in closer, and I want to show you application and wipe off, and I'll share my experience with you. Let's take a look at the product going onto the pad. And you want to prime your application pad. And you can see that's not black water coming out. It's a smoked, grayed out coating. And the graphene is infused into that coating. It's not added to it, and that's what it looks like.
All right. So as we've already discussed, the graphene helps fill in those microvoids. But what Brian is experiencing, or hopefully what he's experiencing right now, is it's a reduced friction and increased slip. So it feels, you're going to feel less drag when you're washing the vehicle, drying the vehicle, which means you'll have safer washes, reduced towel grab, and a lower chance of inducing marring. You also have thermal stability. Graphene is extremely heat resistant and heat stable, which this helps the coatings sustain higher surface temperatures and thermal cycling. Most important, thermal cycling, which is sun, cool, sun, cool. So as far as like hot climates are concerned, you're going to have a much better experience with a graphene coating than without graphene. You also get more uniformed appearance. This is subtle, but it's real. It enhances the depth and the clarity on gloss, and it creates a richer, more even tone on matte and satin finishes. So basically, it's going to just continue to enhance whatever's beneath it. And then, of course, at the very end, you're going to say that it improves resistance to mineral bonding. It reduces the likelihood of etching during early stages, and it's just going to lead to easier maintenance, less stubborn spotting. But I'm going to reinforce that it's not an immunity, all right? You're not going to have an immunity to all of these things. Maintenance is going to be everything.
All right, I have the product on there. You don't want to mess around too long. We're looking at about 60 seconds to 2 minutes to being the sweet spot wiping this product off. But I just wanted to stop and let you know what I felt so far. And that'll put us past the minute or two mark, because I want to push the limits with this. I want to wipe this off between 3 and 4 and see if we run into problems. Getting it on was no problem. There's no drag whatsoever. And you know the crisscross pattern that I showed you right there that I normally do with some coatings? Because some coatings you can actually see the coating being dragged around as you're doing that crisscross pattern. This goes on smooth as butter. It's a little bit different than some other coatings I've been working with here lately. You can actually get away with just doing a line if you overlap your application process, overlap the pad by maybe a quarter of the pad. You don't need to do the crisscross pattern. That's how easy it is to get on. This is now going into in between the second and third minute, so let me move the camera a little bit closer and you can see what wipe-off is a little bit past the suggested wipe-off time window of 1 to 2 minutes. Come in with your first towel, have 2 towels. By the way, I did not see a strong rainbow look effect. I did see a little bit of rainbowing, but it would be hard to pick up with the camera. I did not see heavy sweating. So without the visual cues, go with a minute or two time and time yourself. So we're past that. We're approaching 4 minutes. And I could tell you with this first towel, it's not grabbing the towel and folding it over. It's still coming off rather easy with the first towel. Let's come in with the second one, and yes, buff to perfection.
Brian, that was remarkable. It didn't look like you were grabbing at all.
No, there's no fight, no fighting you. It's an easy, quick user experience. It feels great. I don't feel a ton of slickness or anything, but it's not. Sometimes I feel a ton of slickness already. Sometimes I feel grabbiness. This is right in between. Okay. That has really nothing to. That does nothing for durability, but it's just a characteristic that I'm sharing. Piece of cake. So far, so good.
Just make a believer out of you yet.
Okay, so we have it on the panel, and by the way, I mean this car is. Oh boy, by now it's 13, 14 years old. It has 125,000 miles on it, and that metallic flake is just shining through. So I can't wait to see what the old paint looks like now corrected and protected after it's cured. So let's talk about cure time. We have it on the panel, and what are we looking at? How long before it can get wet?
We like to say 24 hours, for a cure before you get it wet. There are things that you have taught me that you can kind of get away with certain things if you're in an emergency, but it does take a full 5 to 7 days to fully cure. But we say 24 hours before getting it wet. But if it gets wet before the full cure, you want to get that water off of there. So use an air mover, something to get that water off of there and dry it off.
So 24 hours, keep it under a roof, in your garage, uh, free flowing water, rainfall, mist, whatever. Just keep it dry for the first 24 hours. And then your first wash. Are we looking at a week?
Yeah.
A standard week?
Yes, sir.
And then we're aftercare and maintenance. So let's talk about shampoos, what can be used.
Well, I mean, we are talking about Apex Auto Wash is my go-to, and at 600 to 1, I don't think you're going to get a better bang for your buck, especially for how great of a soap it is.
pH neutral shampoos.
pH
and
neutral.
I love the Apex Auto Wash because it's nothing is added that's not needed. Unnecessary colors or dyes or fragrances.
Right.
It's just straight up.
When you helped me to design it, it was I want clean and I want lubricity. You know what I mean? And that's
Yep.
it. Those are the two number one things that I want. I want it to be able to clean, and I don't want it to. I want it to pick up the dirt and not drag micromarine across it.
All right, let's talk about aftercare. First of all, can you layer the product?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're doing it, we say wait at least 1 hour, but not more than 2 hours because they can start to reject itself.
So are we thinking 2 or 3 layers tops, or do you have 2 layers tops and that would be it?
I would not go over 3 layers because you get to what is called a tipping point, which means you're going to start to get the adverse effect of what you're looking for. It'll start to get cloudy after 3 layers. You're really good at 2. Like, let's not be crazy. 2 layers is more than enough.
And let's talk about toppers.
You guys may or may not have heard of Titan, but it has landed in certain Canadians' S tier every year that he's done it. It's landed in first place on the forensic detailer in the UK as his number 1.
Lots of shout outs going today.
I'm just saying, like, maybe we're making some noise in the Phoenix world. Phoenix has been a sleeper from the beginning, and people are now just starting to wake up to it. But Titan is going to do.
They sure are, and not just nationally, but internationally.
That's right.
It's
we're
waking up.
apparently the it thing in Australia right now.
Yeah, a great car culture, great people in Australia. I love everybody I've ever come in contact from there.
For sure.
But anyways, let's get back to the coating.
Yeah.
Throwing it on a test panel, throwing chemicals at it, and seeing its water behavior is all fun and fun and games. But nothing will ever take the place of what Mother Nature can throw up at your car during the seasons. And it's spring here now in Pennsylvania. We have pollen and birds and bugs and anything you can think of. The rain season is just monsoons this time of year. So we will keep an eye on the coating, and that's the best way to gauge. I never gauge the quality of a full-blown coating until I've seen it come back for maintenance. I can't wait. I can't wait. Will this make me a believer? I don't know. But we'll see. All right, let's head back to the table for our final thoughts. All right, so we're back at the table for the final thoughts segment of the video, and I'd like to share you can really use any type of applicator to get it down from the bottle, transfer from the bottle to your car. Microsuede, microfiber, foam applicators, whatever you'd like. You could put it on in straight lines. You could put it on in a crisscross pattern. You could put it on in circular motions. It doesn't give a hoot how you get it on the car. It just likes to be there because it doesn't fight. It doesn't give you really any problems at all. Wiping it off. You saw me use some of the plush microfibers, and that's perfectly fine if you're working on a car with soft clear coat. You don't want to scratch up the surface again and just ruin something you put so much time into correcting. What you do need to watch out for if you're using something plush like that is, something that lints. Yeah, because those can leave go of fibers. The best thing to do is have a low nap microfiber to wipe it off. But
And just so happens you can get it at the House of Rags.
How about that?
Everything that you need for coating a car.
I like how you slid that in there. The bills are paid. We can keep talking now. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how this holds up. I'm still not sold on the graphene thing yet. And you know how I feel about anything that's marketed or sold, anything higher than a 5-year coating. 8-year coating, 10-year coating, lifetime. You know it's all bull. It's BS to me. Nothing lasts really normally past 3 to 4 years. unless it's a garage queen or really maintained. So we shall see.
Garage queen.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. Do I have to put the quotes up again?
He said it.
Anyways, I look forward to seeing what this does for the daily driver here. And I gutted this thing out, and it's now what I use to haul around the shop manager. So it will get used every single
Yeah,
day.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
And then anything you want to add to close your sale here to the
Well, you know,
public?
it's funny. I try to stay away from words like sales and marketing and things of that nature because it just makes me feel. I mean, I know that that's my business, right? I'm in the business to sell stuff, but I don't.
I got to share, I always felt uncomfortable about that. When I started the channel, it was to be completely transparent and give my true feelings about a product. When I started to make my own, it's obvious I felt confident with my product because I wouldn't release it to the public without that.
Exactly, and that's why this took 5 years to make, is because, like you, I was not a believer in it, and I didn't feel that the technology was there, and I will never sell something that I don't believe in, and I won't sell something that contradicts something that I've previously stated as a belief. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, you never have to use a panel prep, but now I make a panel prep, so you have to use a panel prep every time that you do something like that. Like, that's not who I am, and it just makes me feel like a used car salesman, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
So,
and it's the reason that I still kept reviewing other products on my channel besides mine, and only had mine on every once in a while when there's something I could share with you. I didn't want to jam them down your throat. I wanted to share information like we are today about something that can truly change the way you go about your business.
yeah. Oh, you know, interesting. There was a podcast I was listening to. I think it was last week, and they were talking about how companies will make a graphene product just so they can charge more for the same product. So you're like, so for example, if this is well, I know for a fact that regular Kronos is $99.99, and the graphene is, I think, $129.99. So it's $30 more, but they're both, by the way, 50 milliliter bottles, so they're considerably cheaper than a lot of stuff that's out there, especially at 30 milliliter bottles. I think there's a couple of 30 milliliters that are selling for $1.50.
And you can get 2 cars out of that easily.
Yes,
and
for
still
sure.
have some left over for sets of wheels that you pick up.
But the reason why there is definitely a cost increase, and it's not because we're just boosting the profit margins. It's because there is an extra there's
Raw materials.
There's extra raw materials that go into it, which increases the cost. And again, now 5 years ago, I didn't think that the juice was worth the squeeze. The technology wasn't there. You're not really adding a whole lot to the coating. But I think here we are 5 years later, and I really believe that it is doing something. And so therefore I can stand behind it. And hopefully, you are going to stand behind it here when you see the results.
We shall see. I'm not there yet, but I do have an open mind, and I'm anxious to see what happens with this. That's going to do it for today. It's always a pleasure to spend some time with you. And anything you want to add to that?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for supporting the show. We love doing this. We laugh a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, this is something we look forward to, and we look forward to you being part of the process.
Yeah, so if there's something else that you want to talk about, or you want to weigh in on your feelings about graphene, please comment below. It does the show a lot of good. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching.
Take care.